Dear gracious Father, I thank you for this opportune moment to catch this little thread, this evil, Masonic, subconscious, subliminal plant and seed, and it flashed on the screen in the blink of an eye, Father, and I caught it and recognised it straight away. I thank you for your experiences, Father, and I just ask you that this be a legal, lawful witness, Father, of the things I've been through and been on the end of for my whole life, and I pray that this will go towards helping those caught in this system, caught in this evil practice. I pray that this will be seen and it will be between you and the people that see it, and I pray that the law will have free course, Father, and I pray that their escape will have free course and they will receive mercy rather than trying to escape justice. I pray that they will repent and they will leave this wicked practice, covens, Satanism, vanity, whatever it is they worship, Father. I pray you will bring it down. I pray, Father, you will help me give a good of account of what you've shown me and point it out to people who will see this, and I pray it will touch their hearts and it will relieve a lot of fear, Father, and guilt, because I know that what I am about to try and expose by your light and hand, I pray your hand be with me. I pray you will just simply show it, Father, and people will see it for themselves. They won't need me any explanation. Help me just simply lay it out, Father. I pray that those people in these pockets, Father, I know that there's that this is practiced in communities, in batches, so there's many people in the community experiencing the same things or the same programs. This is just one tiny thread of a program through the medium of a advert, one little advert. So how many other things are there? This is just one tiny little strand, a bit of cotton, a bit of wicked, sly, evil cotton into your living rooms, into your children's lives, with all the other fizz and garbage. I pray, Father, this will wake someone up to their senses, that they may freely walk away from this wickedness and come unto your saving love. And they will seek the Lord Jesus and believe in him and not a load of rubbish, but believe in the truth and desire it, Father. I pray this just plant a seed and touch someone, and they would just seek after you and desire and be drawn by common sense, by soberness and life. I pray, Father, in your blessed holy name, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Right. This is a I'm not sure, I think it's 1996. So, if you're from that era, I was 26 in 1996. I can't remember anything really, just the date. I can't tell you what I was doing, which is a worry. Anyway, this is a 1996 Readyback advert. It's called The Bikers. I'll show you the whole video and you'll see, you won't even see this. I'll be surprised if any of you see it. It's just like a flash bulb, and it's black and white, you see, and that flash bulb is going to have an impression on your children's eyes watching this. Now think about that. Now, I'm just like any other child who sat in front of the TV. I'm not judging here. I'm just sharing what I've considered and moved away from. So wherever you are, please don't compare to what I'm saying. Just please listen and consider how parents, under so much stress and burden of life, it's just so easy to stick
your children in front of loads of videos or telly. I get it. I totally understand it. I'd be no different. If I was left to my own devices and raised children, you'd probably cringe at what I'd let them do. But I would be honest with them and tell them about it, which is, I didn't know any different then. I would have dealt with, wishy-washy, it's okay, but I would have had a lot to learn. And it's not a responsibility I would have taken on anyway, because I knew that I couldn't take that responsibility on, so I didn't. So I can't really say how I'd have done it, because I wouldn't have done it from the first. So, but I have been around a lot of young families, and I've seen it. We're sitting there watching. As a child, you come home from school, Saturday morning, you watch telly. You have these little flashes on and fizz and blah, na, 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 and it's just like one after the other, and your brain is like, and then computer games, and it's just everywhere. Here, there, tickets, images, flash, flash, flash all day, and you wonder why your children got ADHD and autism and all the other contributing factors. You're just bombarded by this noise, and that's what it is, noise. It's robbing your peace, it's robbing your conscience and your soberness, and you can't see it, and it's getting worse. It's being added to by other things in the atmosphere. Wi-Fi. I don't even use Wi-Fi, and I've got so much of it coming through my house. I don't even use it. I get exposed more to Wi-Fi because I don't use it, because it's not going into a receiver, it's just going through me. Plus I've got cell towers, and the lies they say about cell towers, they only go 2 miles, they only go 200 metres into the ground. Well, read the science. They go around microwaves, depending on the power, and there's no, I know, I've researched this, there's no sky limit to how much power in the UK that you can crank these up to, and they're down there regular, tweaking them up. You ever been to like a music concert? It starts very late, it starts about 12, and then it gradually gets louder and louder and louder, and it's really, in a quiet, out of the way place, or it's in a hired place, in a busy place where that's permitted, and people are up all night, and it's cranked up, and it's slow, but it's very slowly, like the goldfish analogy, and they're switching up the volume. It's like the way that you heat the water up. If you warm the water up slowly, a goldfish would just adjust with the gradual decrease or increase, depending. So the volume gets louder and louder and louder and louder and louder and louder, but incrementally. And I've spoken to engineers, and I go up and ask them what their knowledge on, what can you tell me about microwaves? And they give their account, what they've been taught. And I said, I've actually researched, and I recommend some areas that they go and research and do some research themselves and start from scratch and work out, let me find out from point blank. I'm not going to give any names, or you do that, I've done that, and that's the best way to start. That's the most rewarding way to start, is with a clean sheet. I don't know anything. I'm going to go and have a look and just research. And I researched, and I discovered the physics and the actual reality of microwaves. And then the history, the research is like everything. You've got to sit around the table and feast it if you want to really understand it, to consider the scale and the scope. And then there's other areas of research you've got to start looking into, and then you've got to build a picture and a map on the board of what's going on here. And I'm just going to show you one little bit, and you'll see what consider what you're being exposed to, and what You know, the most frightening thing is little children. You know, they're just pure and their consciences are clean. I don't want to open myself up here, but we all know what it was like to be a child, even in the worst circumstances. You just got that beautiful, pure innocence. Now, I know when I was a child I didn't want to step out into that world, but I didn't have a choice. It's forward. It's not backwards, it's forward. You can't go back into your mum's womb. It's now off to school, go on. Off to work, go on. And then, you know, your parents are more overrun with tipped over way off track because they're running around trying to make ends meet, or this, that and the other getting thrown in the way, and the things that they're caught and distracted on their own, you know, sin cycles and emotional problems and all the, you know, all the churning and life threads that go on in families. You've got one, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't got a family, you know, there's all that outer exposure, the vulnerability. You know, imagine how scary that is. And then you expose these little lambs, these little precious children, to sex, to music. You know, really take a look at yourself, take a rain check and wake up. And this is being paid for and sponsored by yourselves, by your ignorance, by your stupidity. You're going to the slaughter and you're leading your children into it by your own example. You need to turn around and have a look and get back to where you were. You want to get back to where you were as a child. You were right there. You had it right. You count your age, right? That's how far away you are from it. And you need to consider, do you want that? Do you want life or do you want that shit? Excuse my language, but it is shit, it's garbage, it's poison, and I'm sick of it. I've got no legal defence against it, I've got no say against it. I've got to suffer this crap day in and day out. Your dumb ignorance, your dumb bloody ignorance. If it was down to me, I'd chuck a match in it. I'd do it now and walk. But what would that make me? That would make me awful. That would be terrible. How I couldn't do anything like that. That's just my hurt, my anger. You know, I think that's the Lord's anger. But I know what the Lord says about a man's anger. I know what my anger's like. I can't handle it. I explode. I get so emotionally touched by anger and emotion. I can't even express it. It's too, you know, I can't take it all. I'm like a 2-year-old. I'm in a 2-year-old in a runaway adult's world. It frightens me, and it frightens me for other children, and I'm useless. I can't do anything about it. And I think, well, there's plenty of people in the world who could do something. What's wrong with them? Where's their brains? And then I think, well, take a rain check again. You know, I can't possibly know everything out there. You know, I know, and I have to reevaluate and rebalance and try and, you know, stabilise this mess in my life just to get through the day. And you know, very grateful that there are good people and there is hope. And I'm hoping that this will go to some way to touch you, and then you seek that mercy, that forgiveness, because that's what I've received, and I didn't deserve it. And the things I went through, and the things I'd done, there's things I didn't deserve, but the things I did made the things I didn't deserve I deserve. So I really have nothing to crow about. I'm just sharing my churning. I live with that day in and day out. Right, so take a seat. I'm going to point some things out I noticed. These are the honey traps. And this is what goes into some of you have got young boys, okay, and they're a certain type of personality, and they're the target for this sick image, right? And what they're doing is now you imagine that in every population, let's say 9-10% of families have got a certain pattern of children, like a boy and a girl, or two boys. Let's say it's two boys, an older brother, younger brother, right? Now let's say one of those, maybe the younger or the older, I don't know, or maybe a bit of both. Maybe there's more than one program. This is addressing doing more than one job. And I'll explain a bit about that in a second, because you'll see it further on when I play the whole thing the way through. But yeah, consider that this is going through young, impressionable young boys. Now think of the emotions and the fears and the things that are going on in your mind as a young man. And think if your parents haven't had, they haven't got the skills, haven't learned the skills that other people have had, and everyone's got different skills and different weaknesses, different strengths. Think of those very vulnerable young men, perhaps with no fathers, or perhaps with fathers that are, got problems, or mum, there's problems in the home, single parents. Either way, the difficulties of a family, raising a family, and all the problems amongst it, this sinful world that we're all guilty of it. I am, I'm not. I get a bit high and mighty, but I've got nothing to be high and mighty about. I'm just trying to establish my, some equilibrium in my life, and walk daily. So I'm not going to beat myself for that. So please don't beat me, and I hope I haven't beaten anybody else. That's the last thing I want to do. Right. So we've got the two pillars, right? Where's my pointer? I won't show my face, it's a horrible light. But you see my face in other videos, what I'm going to do. Right, the checkerboard, obviously, masonry, the two pillars. Look into the two pillars. I'm not going to go about the two pillars at a minute. I'm more on a biblical time scale and a biblical analogy, but used in an anti-biblical analogy. It's a false biblical analogy. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at an inverted gospel. This is the perverted gospel by some wicked people who don't believe it, so they use it to other people who don't believe it. So it really serves us right for not believing, and that's one of my points. And I'm hoping that this is a wake-up call. Right, you notice the dragon. Now that's almost like a jaw, two teeth. Excuse my finger, I didn't mean to do it rude. Two teeth there, like a jaw. But there's a dragon. Right, so there's a red dragon. Do you know what the dragon is? Death, Satan, the beast, the evil, the aggression, the war, and the fire. Right, we've got the love interest there. Gazing. The hope. So, I'll explain that as well. Right, you got they're not together. That's interesting. They're not a couple. He's on his own, all miserable. His wife's not there. There's no one there. Bangers and mash. No, there's no seats at the table. That's a bit strange. I don't know what that is. But my main focus is those two columns. The love interest. All the Ready Break adverts have got that time, so that might have some significance. But I'm not looking at that. That might be just be creative. So a lot of it's just furniture. We're just looking at the image. So the image is the dragon. The two posts. Two plates, perhaps. Two plates. A sun, one above another. I'm no expert. I don't really know. I'm just seeing what I've seen, what had an impression on me, and it's had an impression on me all through my life, and it has an effect. So I'm just pointing. I'll try and stay sharp on the points of the dragon, the two columns. Right, now I'm going to play the whole thing, and the love interest. So you imagine a young man growing up, and you're pumped with all this romantic stuff on films, and then you're at school with all the tussling and the taunting and all the, all the sex, the pressure, the game, the lie they play. oh, you're a loser if you haven't lost your virginity. All to go down the wrong path and ruin your life. There's all that's cultivated in school. I remember my teachers, stepping back and letting it roll. And I'm thinking, what is this? This is just, you can't get away from it, and you just got. I just run. I just climbed over the fence, and I didn't even get the social services round. It was really that chummy, it was really bad. So yeah. Right, the love interest. So the young man, right, let's say he's had his, not very confident. So he's having his confidence knocked every day, and he's like really, he's really a loner, a bit isolated. Maybe there's some trauma around there or something, or something's happened to that young man, that's made him like that. Maybe his mum and dad have split up. Maybe there's been a death, or maybe a lot of things, more than one. Like. And these little kids are left, and they got no parent to turn to, and they got this corporate adult that they got to go for milk. Oh, it's all candy, and then you're sick. But it's not overnight. It takes it can take like 20, 30 years before you start developing these spots and start breaking down, and you just can't cope with this amount of bombardment in life, and it's getting ridiculous. So you've got, oh look, the longing, oh my heart, black and white, like the whoop, oh I'm longing. Right, so you got that's a flash, and then you've got these two posts, you see. Right, now in the whole story this is like I'm not sure if it's in the centre, I'm not sure what the time is. No, it's right at the beginning. So I think it's about 2 minutes 20 or something, 2 minutes 30. That plates are interest. Oh, it's a bowl. So you got the love interest, the dragon, and the post. Right, now I'm going to play the whole lot, and the old people separate. I think that's significant. Those characters, and it's in like a roadie's, a trucker's cafe, right? So you got whole pensioners in a trucker's cafe. Right. Right there. Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see that before. This is rich in imagery. Oh, I probably need to do a bit more on this. I didn't realise there's so much. I've only watched it once, and I started to recognise what the programme's about. I'm just going to tell you what.